Hey, good morning. It is, well, this is the shelter here. It's about 7:15. This is where I stayed last night. Every single person is gone except me. I was sleeping in, and then I got up and there were a couple people left, and then I realized my shirt was in the very bottom of everything in my pack, so I had to unpack everything and start over again. But anyway, it was a good place to stay. I didn't do a lot here. Got in so late last night, I just was able to eat, kind of meet everybody real quick and get to bed. So I'm off to start today. Not sure how it'll go, but I think maybe I'm going to take a little bit easier day today. I've overdone it the last quite a few days in a row, and I'm feeling it, so maybe I'll try to relax a little. This campsite area is really beautiful. It really is, and how incredible sunset last night, and just the whole area is really neat and in a better setting than some of the other campsites I've been in, and in great shape. The caretaker, Connor, was awesome. I mean, just a really nice guy and very engaging. One negative, as you can maybe see here, is it's a bit of a steep climb out, and it's 3/10 of a mile off the trail, so I knew when I was coming down here last night that I was gonna have to hike back up this in the morning. You know, you just hate to add any distance onto your hike, but there's a small price to pay. I think I'm almost out to the trail, ready to get rolling. Well, Rattle River Hostel is right on the trail near Gorham, New Hampshire, which is, well, it's about 8 miles from where the tent site was I started this morning. So I don't know what that means now, maybe 6 miles from here. I'm not sure how far I've gone. But anyway, the reason that matters is because I've got a box mailed to myself that's there, waiting on me. How am I going to get up here with a phone in my hand? Okay. Whew. That's some good video work right there. So anyway, it should, if I have things planned correctly, should have my new shoes in it, which I desperately need. I showed you last night. And just a couple days worth of food. I think that's about it. And that will get me through, well, it'll have the rest of my guidebook, or some more of my guidebook. So, be able to see what's going on. Why that's important is because in a couple of days, I'm supposed to be going to Human Nature Hostel, you've heard me mention, to take a zero. And I need to call them and figure out when, where they're going to pick me up. Can't remember if I mentioned it, but the place that they used to pick up, or that I thought they were going to pick me up, is not where they pick up. So, and the guy told me on the phone where it was, but I didn't have the guide and I couldn't figure it out. And so, I don't know, I may be getting picked up a day earlier than I thought, or a day later than I thought. So I need to be prepared for that. So I'll have to, anyway, call them and just figure it out. And, so it'll just kind of break up my day, being able to stop there. I could possibly stay there if they even have space. I know they've been really filled up and taking reservations at Rattle River, where I'm picking up my box today. But I will have only done 8 miles, 8 or 10, or 8, I guess, when I get in there. So, I need to get on and do a little bit more, even though I'm trying to take it easy today. I don't want to take off half the day, So, I will just play it by ear. Haven't even looked to see where campsites and things are. I may end up, if I'm really taking it easy, I may end up just stealthing somewhere tonight, wherever is just convenient and doesn't push me too hard. But a lot of that's going to depend on where the Human Nature Hostel people are going to pick me up at, because, I may need to sort of slow myself down. I may need to speed up and get a little further to get picked up on time and things like that. So I'll figure that all out. I'm walking along, just thinking about how this past couple of weeks have gone. And you know, it's funny, I feel kind of strong and weak at the same time. I mean, right now I feel really worn down. You know, I've been feeling worn down for, you know, several days, but every time it comes time to, you know, pick it up and do whatever I need to do, I'm really able to do it. So, you know, I know I'm getting stronger. I mean, I know I'm a lot stronger. I know I'm doing great out here, but I think I can just, well, first of all, I've been pushing it harder than I've ever pushed it before. You know, since my last zero, I mean, I came straight off trail and I did like 26-mile day, another 26, 24. Then I did that day where I did 12 miles into Glencliff, and then hung around a couple hours and came out and did the Moosilauke mountain climb into the Whites and everything. And that was a massive day. I don't know how many miles it was, but considering it included, you know, 3,800 foot straight climb, Moosilauke, I think it was probably a 18-mile day or something like that. And then, you know, I continued to do, I think I did another 15-mile day doing Kinsman or something like that. Maybe 14-mile day, I can't remember. Then somewhere in there I had that one 10-mile day. It did not feel like a day off. That was that day that I got kind of semi-hypothermic and ended up in the shelter with a gang of people. But then after that, you know, I did a nice big hike the next day of 14 miles in the Whites or something, and then I did 15 miles over the Presidentials and 18 plus miles yesterday over through the Wildcats and the Carters. And it's like, these have been really big days, you know. I had planned that potentially I could only do 11 miles a day through all the White Mountains, and you know, I've probably been averaging whatever, I don't know, 15 or 14 or something. So yeah, I really feel good about it, you know. I feel like I achieved more than I actually thought I was going to be able to. But I think my deal is just that I've pushed so hard and it's getting real close to my 2-week zero and I need it. So, see how strong I feel coming out of this zero here in a few days. Alright, I just passed over the stream. That means I am halfway to new shoes. It's about the 4-mile mark to my 8-mile hike to the hostel to get my package. So, yeah, I should be coming across, a shelter, the Rattle River shelter, here in a little bit, and then the Rattle River itself, which I know nothing about. I don't know if it's just kind of a, you know, little creek or if it's like a roaring massive river. So we'll see. And that'll put me just a couple miles from the hostel. So, doing well this morning. Making okay time, but honestly, feels really good to just be taking it slow, and it's a lot better on my knees. Last night, I was wanting to get into camp so badly. I was literally, like, I just took my trekking poles and just held them in my hands, and I was just running down the path. You know, like a fast jog, at least in the areas like this where it wasn't too steep. And man, I could really feel it when I got into camp last night. I should not have done that. My knees were hammered. So this morning it feels good to take it nice and slow. stopped in here at the hostel, Rattle River Lodge and Hostel, and got a box that I had sent. This is literally on the trail, so this road is on the trail. So I got a box I sent there. They were really ultra nice. I was supposed to pay $5. I tried to pay $5 because if you're not staying there and you just have them get a box, then it costs a little money. But they wouldn't take it. And then they let me charge my phone. They let me use their Wi-Fi, which was really, really, really ultra fast. I have never experienced faster Wi-Fi at a hostel ever, anywhere, or even a hotel. And then I bought a couple things out of their vending machine. Then the guy came out and gave me a popsicle. I mean, you know, they do an 11:30 run to Walmart for all the people who are staying there. And I asked, said, hey, you guys have any chips here in the, like, since there aren't any in the vending machine? And the guy goes, no, but I'm going to Walmart, I'll pick you up some. So, I mean, and I didn't have him do that, but my point is, really nice people and very helpful and very generous. Makes me really wish I could stay, but I just really can't because of my timing. So, what do I know now? What I know now that I got my new guide information is that where the Human Nature Hostel guy is going to pick me up is 10 miles beyond where I was planning on being picked up. And the way I am right now, that just means it's going to add another day onto my, before I take a zero. So, you know, it's kind of going to slow me down. Well, anyway, it doesn't really matter. It just means I have another day. So instead of taking a zero, instead of hiking the rest of today, tomorrow, the next day, and then taking a zero, I'll add one day on there. And that's fine. I've got a little extra food. I think I'll get by just fine. I don't have a lot of extra food, but it'll get me by one more day or 3/4 of a day. So I'm doing a little bit of a road walk here. I just have to come up here, short distance past the railroad tracks, take a left, and then just go half mile through town or whatever, and then I'm back out on the trail. So I'm gonna just continue what I kind of said. I'm just gonna kind of take it easy, go at just a medium pace, and just see how far I get. There's a campsite 6 miles down the road, which would be a pretty short day, you know, for the kind of terrain that I'm seeing now, which is a little more normal. And then there's one 12 miles down the road, which would be a pretty big day. That'd be like a 20-mile day for me today. So I could do about a 14 or a 20 mile. I'm guessing I'm going to do the 14, but we'll just see how it goes. And I might just, you know, I could just stealth camp somewhere in between too. So, anything eventful happens or whatever, I'll pop back on here. Oh yeah, I got new shoes. Woohoo! Oh, they're so much better. My other ones were so trashed. My feet were just sloshing around in them like slippers, and my socks are destroyed. So there are almost holes in the sides of them from, you know, just rubbing the socks straight on rocks as I've been walking for the past few days. So anyway, yay, new shoes. So normally I consider myself to be fairly fast on the trails, up and down, you know, but when the rocks are wet, you just never know, you know. You go along and you feel like everything's good. You've got to feel for the rocks. These kinds of rocks aren't really that slippery or whatever they are or whatever. And then you go, but inevitably there's always one rock somewhere that's just ridiculously slippery and you don't know. And you hit it wrong, and I mean, you're about upside down and wondering how your bones aren't sticking out through your leg after you land. And anyway, at the shelter last night, there's this girl. Her name is Sled. And the reason her name is Sled is because she's really fast downhill. She's really slow uphill, but downhill she just like flies. So today, she left the shelter just shortly before I did. And I caught her fairly quickly because we had some uphill going on. I kind of forgot what her name was about. Anyway, so I took off and never expected to see her again. And then shortly before I get in here to the hostel, she comes flying behind me and she just zooms right past me. And, you know, I made some joking comment or something. And anyway, then after I got to the hostel, she was there. And so I asked her, Like, so what's your trick? How do you avoid that one crazy rock that's like, just has your name on it, that's about to kill you? And she didn't really have an answer. Her answer was, you know, you just really have to focus when you're going downhill and kind of watch and think of where you're going to put your feet before you get there and this and that. And I'm like, I do all that. That does not help. That one mysterious rock that is just waiting to kill me. And she just laughed and said, I don't know. I don't have one of those rocks. And I'm like, well, I do. So I think I'll continue to go slower downhill when it's wet. I'm almost to the top of this peak and I see this. So if this person was right, it means I've got less than 300 miles left. Let's hope they're right. Well, it's a mile later and there's another one, so I'm in the vicinity anyway. All right, I'm at the Trident Coal campsite, and that's the shorter distance one. I decided not to push on. I think I'm doing fine. I think I pushed hard through the White Mountains, and I now am at a point where I know I can make this work. Even if I do have to push a little towards the end, or even if I have to add one day or something, I've got enough days, so I am going to just dial it back like I've been talking about for a couple days now, and still did good today, and got a nice little spot set up, and I'm gonna get a few things done because it's only about like 3:30, so I've got a little time finally. I've been getting into camp so late lately. I'm glad that broken tree is going the other direction. So anyway, it's gonna be good to just have a little bit of time tonight to get off my feet. So probably that's it for today, and I will see you tomorrow. There's a big milestone happening tomorrow. I bet you can guess what it is.